Hey friends, Allison here. Welcome back to my channel. I have a new layout to share with you today that is a traveler's notebook sized layout. It measures 4.5 inches wide by 8.25 inches tall. And I was inspired to dive deep into my stash and pull out some of my oldest scrapbooking products. That would be 6x6 paper pads that I have had in my stash for quite a while. I was looking for the dates on the backs of some of them, and they dated from like 2012, 2013, so they are quite old. They're like old My Mind's Eye 6x6 paper pads. And I think I have a jelly bean soup in there as well, but most of them are My Mind's Eye. These pattern papers totally caught my eye. I was going to use them in another layout, but I couldn't make it work, and then thought that I would challenge myself by using them up in this layout, and I'm pretty proud of how it came out. It's super duper cute. So I began by taking some pattern paper that I have in my stash that I'm fairly certain I'm never going to use, and use that as a layout, my layout base. And on top of that, I took 2 of the same pattern papers out of one of the 6x6 paper pads and layered them on top of each other, trimmed them down first so that they were 4.5 inches wide, but layered them together to make one entire sheet of pattern paper. So don't be afraid to use smaller sheets of paper that you have in your stash. You can still make them work. There is a tiny little seam in the layout base from where I layered those papers up together, but because there's a cardstock mat on top of it, it actually blends it in, and you can't see it. Same goes for the striped pattern paper border that I created as well. That's on the right hand side of the white cardstock mat. I trimmed it down to, I think it's about 1 inch wide, and then layered them together as well so that it looks like one piece, but it's actually 2 pieces. On the white cardstock, you see I have my journaling typed. I typed it out on my computer and then printed it at home with my Epson printer. And I did the same with my photo as well. My photo measures roughly 2 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And I layered that onto a piece of white cardstock that I created in Cricut Design Space. I attached a phrase that says love over and over and over again to a little rectangle in Cricut Design Space, and drew and cut that image all in one piece. I did the same with the gray cardstock in the background as well. I attached the phrase XO to it. I actually duplicated it multiple times and then created one large image from that, sized it to what I wanted it, and then attached it to a rectangle shape, and then drew and cut it all at once. So the little white piece of cardstock has gray lettering on it, and then the gray cardstock has a black lettering on it. Now I'm working on my title. It was also a cut and draw image as well. This love phrase was a cut image to begin with, but I converted it to draw and then used the offset function to create a word bubble around it so that it had something to rest on. I'm using alcohol markers to color them in. So I'm using pale pink blend and then the deep red blend, and that's going to be layered over top of this red cardstock heart that I cut with my Cricut as well. It did hang off the page just a teensy little bit, so I trimmed that off. I'm fine with that. It looks super duper cute. And then underneath where love is going to go, I'm adding some strips of different pattern paper from the same paper pad as sort of a shelf to put the word love on. So I trimmed them down roughly to 1/2 inch wide by, I think it's about 2, maybe a little bit larger inches long. Actually, it's probably more like 3. So now you can see I'm going to attach the word love. I'm going to use liquid glue to attach that. I used my ATG to attach everything else together. And once I have that down, I'm going to add a second little phrase over top of the word love. I created that in Cricut Design Space as well. It is a little heart that I converted to a draw file and then used the offset function again to create a little bubble around it. I used a black pen to draw it. My plan from the beginning was to color it in. I could have used blue cardstock instead of alcohol markers. There's no right or wrong way. That's just what I felt like doing, and so that's what I did. And then on top of that little heart, I'm going to add a phrase that says mew. So for me, that was just a spin on the word meow. This layout is all about my cat and my love of cats and how, sorry, not sorry, I prefer cats over dogs. I thought using the XO word prompt for February was fitting for this particular story, especially since February is the month of love. It all just, in my mind, worked together. So that's where the idea for this layout came from, and then the idea for the title as well. So Love Mew is going to be the entire title. I used a blue pen to write the word mew and attach that to a little rectangle in Cricut Design Space. I drew that on white, textured white cardstock, and then attached it to another slightly larger rectangle, also from textured white cardstock that I ended up coloring in because I didn't like the white on white. Here I'm attaching another little phrase to the top of the page, using persimmon pen and then red cardstock to mat that as well. And then to finish the layout off, I have some chipboard hearts that I've never broken into yet from Ellie Edwards. I got them last year, and it was the perfect little addition to put at the bottom of the page above my final little phrase that I created in Cricut Design Space. So this is a hybrid layout, and I absolutely love how it came out. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and a like, and I will be back again soon with more inspiration. Bye, friends.